Hello and welcome to episode 370 of Retro Encounter, RPGFan's weekly podcast of many topics. I'm Mike Sollosi, and unlike the past couple months, I had no difficulties at all playing the game that we are going to discuss today. We're going to have 2 episodes in a row about Like a Dragon Ishin, a game I've been excited to play from the moment it was announced, and I think my 3 co-panelists have similar feelings. Let's introduce them, starting with Jonathan Logan.
Hello, everyone.
And Nick Mangiaracina.
Hi, everyone.
And Gio Castillo.
Ijanaika. Oh, is it? Did I do that right?
I think so. I mean, I assume that you're doing a very silly hand-wavy dance as you say Ijanaika. All right. Excellent. Nick, Gio, Jono, we are here to play Like a Dragon Ishin. It was a 2014 game in Japan, part of the Like a Dragon / Yakuza series. It's originally launched in between Yakuza 5 and Yakuza 0 in 2014. It's set in the Bakumatsu era of Japan, which is roughly 1853 to 1867. I'm not sure if they say a specific year here, but it's sort of said to be mid 1860s. So this takes place in late Bakumatsu somewhere. And it's similar to the earlier game Like a Dragon Kenzan, or even similar to the game Yakuza Dead Souls, in which it's a totally separate story that with characters that are not the same characters as the Like a Dragon main series, but they are portrayed by characters from the Like a Dragon main series. Again, this is a historical fiction game set in 1860s Japan, and most of the main characters were real people in 1860s Japan, but they're played by Yakuza characters. Your main character is the Japanese folk hero of the Revolution period, Ryoma Sakamoto. He's played by Kiryu Kazuma. Kazuma Kiryu, I should say. And then members of the Shinsengumi like Okita Soji, Nagakura Shinpachi, and Hijikata Toshizo are played by Majima, Saejima, and Mine, respectively. So these are real historical characters played by Yakuza performers.
In the review, I think what I stated, it was like, what if the cast of Yakuza was cast in like a big historical drama?
Yes, that's a fair way to put it. But more importantly, it is very fictional, they do things that are definitely didn't happen. But it is also completely wild start to finish. And this game was announced in September of last year to be getting a worldwide release. I think in Japan it's called Ryu Ga Gotoku Ishin Kiwami. It's sort of full title there. But here it's just Like a Dragon Ishin. And frankly, I did not think we would ever get Kenzan or Ishin, and I was overjoyed to get one of them right when my Yakuza / Like a Dragon fandom is blazing. So we do this almost every game journal. Let's talk about our personal backgrounds with the Like a Dragon games, which we also did in an episode of Rhythm Encounter not long ago, but specifically with also Like a Dragon Ishin, with the side question: did you ever think we would get this game before we found out about it?
I think I've talked about my history before, not just on Rhythm, but also on here and Random, because I love this series. So first one I played, Alana assigned me Yakuza Kiwami to review. I didn't want to. I was really glad she did. I got into it, and then I immediately started playing through the rest of the series. I've reviewed every game in the series that's available for the site except for Lost Judgment, which I should probably get on. And I co-wrote a feature, So You Want to Get into the Yakuza Like a Dragon series. So if you are curious and want to get into this series, that'd be a good place to start. In terms of this game, I was following a fan translation that was being developed for this game for years. And that's how I expected to end up playing this game in a few years. I expected to play a fan translation. And then they announced this, and I was like, holy crap. So obviously, thrilled to death this thing exists. Kind of hope that it signals a future where they will translate some of the other Like a Dragon games that were never actually released in the West. But this is it looks like this game's been pretty successful. So hopefully it continues to be, and we'll get some more in the future.
In 2019, another RPG fan writer, Wes Iliff, spent a fair amount of time convincing me to try Yakuza Kiwami. And I just fell in love with the series from that point on. And I never expected this would ever come over. Like Jono, I thought I'd be playing a fan translation. Never expected not only the series to get popular to the point where they would want to bring something like this over to the West, but also didn't think that we would we would essentially get like a bit of a remaster as well. So this was a extremely pleasant surprise. I was so excited when it was announced, and I'm shocked that I'm actually playing it. So
Yeah, and for me, I started playing the series in 2018. Like I picked up Yakuza Zero like about a year after the hype started. Like the after like a bunch of people like hopped on the bandwagon, and it was transformational for me. Like I went crazy. Like I played Zero and then Kiwami. I just played the whole series in chronological order soon after. But then I haven't finished like a dragon. I haven't touched Lost Judgment, and yeah, but I am playing this now first, which I think is fine because like, and it's not really relevant to the main series. But yeah, as for whether I expected it, I don't think I did. I think I remember reading that it was never going to happen because of like the gargantuan task of like localizing it, but then they pulled it off, and I'm really happy about that. I like I didn't expect to like it as much as I do, but like yeah, I really do like it. I think it's one of the best ones.
They did a good job of this localization, but they also didn't do some of the for example, the last few Yakuza games released in the West have also included really, really great English voice localizations. Whereas it's just solid Japanese, just like a traditional Yakuza game before Like a Dragon or the Judgment series. But I mean, that in no way, shape, or form bothers me because I always played them in Japanese anyway. And I feel like it adds an extra layer of authenticity over top of the feel of this game to play it in Japanese.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I this is maybe the one Like a Dragon game that I'm glad they didn't do an English localization for. There would have been too much to explain, and also this game has like 47 characters in it. If they had to have every major character with an English language voice performer, it would be the budget probably would have gotten a little out of control. But I'm in a similar situation to you guys. My first Yakuza game was Fist of the North Star: Lost Paradise, which I thought was mediocre and not a particular favorite. But then many people had been trying to get me to play Yakuza 0 from say 2017 to 2020. And I finally tried it. We played it for the podcast in May of 2020. I loved it. I blazed through most of the rest of the series, not quite in order. I think I was 0, Kiwami 1, Like a Dragon, then 2 through 6. And I've played Judgment, but not Lost Judgment. So my Yakuza journey is not finished yet. But I am enjoying the hell out of it. I think that my early impression with Like a Dragon Ishin is this is one of the good ones because the story is full of drama. The things like the sub story writing and the number of side activities are really, really fun. I always care about the virtual tourism aspect of Yakuza games and how fun the setting is and how varied it is. I think that 1860s Kyoto is dope. But so far I am really, really liking this one. I'm not terribly far. I think I am partway through chapter 6, and I think if this is like a typical Like a Dragon game, there's going to be a neighborhood of 14 to 16 chapters. So I'm probably around a third of the way through, but I really don't know how deep this game goes. I know Jono has finished it, but Gio and Nick, you're roughly where I am, right? Like maybe not quite halfway through the game.
Yeah, just about. I don't know how long this game is, but oh my god, I think I need to just stop doing side quests.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen.
No, that's been my problem too. I think I'm at something like 25 hours played because I've done more than 50 sub stories and a bunch of side stuff as well.
Yeah, my problem when I was reviewing it was I literally at one point had to yell at myself and be like, Jono, stop grinding at blackjack to buy yourself a new sword and actually play the damn critical path. You have to actually have this review in a week.
For my swords, I have been racing chickens and defeating bandits.
I got a sword code off of Twitter, and it's really good.
I probably should have done that instead. I used one of the DLC swords in the early goings, and then I found a poison sword I really like, and I've upgraded that once. And I'm right now my main goal in the game, other than beating it, is to get the ingredients for that last poison sword. Jono, we were talking before recording. You have an interesting choice of favorite weapon from when you played.
Yeah, I have the rubber tree sword. It's a good sword. It's a really solid sword, especially in its upgraded form. It gives you plus 7% experience, I think. But the most important part about it is that it has rubber physics. So it rather than being like a solid blade, every time you fight someone, it just goes and it's just it constantly amuses the hell out of me. Which is a good sign of, it's this. When you say this is one of the good Yakuza games or like a Dragon games, I agree, because it has that perfect mix of heartbreaking melodrama and breathtaking absurdity that is included in every great Yakuza game. And that's a really good example of it. Like, I'll be fighting someone and crying my heart out and just like, oh no, this is the biggest betrayal ever. And my sword will just be like, wiggle, 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 the entire cutscene. And it makes me laugh.
You have the LMFAO of swords. That's the worst. I'm sorry.
It makes me laugh. Fun sword. Good sword too. Especially if you want to level up faster.
You're kind of playing it like Dead Rising then, where your character just looks ridiculous in cutscenes.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, not too ridiculous. I have my character model still set as like on the default. I don't have like the chicken head on, or even funnier, Kiryu, because there is a Kiryu skin in this game.
Yeah, with the gray suit and red shirt. Yeah,
yeah, and they actually do, thank God, do some fabric physics with the sword. So it's not just clipping through his jacket. It's actually his jacket is like pushed up around the sword. But after I beat the game and I was just doing some sub stories that I missed, I switched over to Kiryu just to walk around town to do sub stories, and that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would do sort of like a circuit around Kyo once I unlocked the all of Kyoto and not just the starting neighborhood, where I would sort of just go around in a circle, do every sub story I could see, feed the different dogs and cats that I had met. And some sub stories are more sort of character relationship meters. So like once you finish their sub story, it unlocks their relationship meter. And if you interact with them or help them after you finish their sub story, the meter increases and you eventually get a bunch of virtue points for it. But let's actually talk about the game and not just, let's change gears a little bit. There's so much to do in this game, but it does have a central premise. We mentioned it's in the Bakumatsu period of Japan, which was around 15 years in the 1850s and 60s. That's when the Tokugawa shogunate, which had ruled Japan for right around 200 to 250 years, basically collapsed. Commodore Matthew Perry, not related to the actor well known for playing Chandler Bing in Friends, when that Matthew Perry, an American Navy officer, arrived in ironclad black ships to Japan, he basically said, we want Japan as a trade partner. Japan has been closed off from the rest of the world for over 200 years, but you are going to open up trade to the West. And Japan, which was not nearly industrialized at that point, basically was intimidated into forcibly opening their borders to foreigners. It's an incredibly important moment in Japanese history that I think was maybe a 2-sentence footnote in my AP US history textbook 20 years ago. But So after that event happened in 1853 and Japan opened up its borders a year or two later, there's a lot of foreign investment in Japan. Firearms were introduced to Japan for the first time. There was a lot of rapid industrialization taking place, but also the ruling group, the Tokugawa shogunate, was incredibly threatened. The samurai class had felt their position was threatened by foreigners and firearms and other things. So there was an incredible amount of unrest in this period. There was rampant assassinations, samurai groups being hired to take out politicians and local lords. it was total chaos, and ended with a war right in 1866 and 1867 that meant the end of the Tokugawa shogunate and a restoration of the rule of the emperor, with a civilian government mostly led by the military, but with the emperor as the symbolic seat of power. And so from 1867 until World War II, imperial was the area of Imperial Japan. And but we're not here to talk about Imperial Japan. We're here to talk about everything that happened right up to there. And one character, which is again the Bakumatsu period, and one key figure in the Bakumatsu period was Ryoma Sakamoto, who was a samurai that was sort of that was involved in sort of multiple coups and special events. He was originally hired to murder an official, but then the official told him what exactly was going around in the politics of the time. And Sakamoto became involved in those state politics. He was from a state called Tosa, and you start Like a Dragon Ishin in Tosa, but he eventually he was instrumental in uniting Tosa, Satsuma, and I think it's Chubu, which were three powerful, relatively powerful areas of southern Japan, but uniting them against the ruling Tokugawas, and then defeating them in the war at the end of in 1867. But in real life, Sakamoto's involvement with the Bakumatsu era took place over a decade. Like he was traveling back and forth, involved in a lot of different major events for 10 years or longer. But in this game, it feels like Sakamoto was accidentally thrust into the action and then takes care of all of the events of the Bakumatsu period in like 1 year, which is not what happened. But
it's a slightly condensed time frame.
Yes. And another thing that happens is right in the first chapter, which is only in Tosa and not Kyoto, Sakamoto becomes involved in a local political movement, which was a real political movement, and his close friend Takechi Hanpeta is sort of the leader of that movement. He encounters an assassin named Okada Izo. Both of those were real historical figures, but then is framed for the murder of his mentor and father figure. And who is, I think, what's that guy's name? He's played by Shinichiro Kazama, so I just thought of him as Kazama.
Toyo.
Yeah, Toyo. That's it. I is it?
Yep, Yoshida Toyo.
Yeah, that's it. Toyo. So and then that's a weakness that happens to me all the time. Like they throw all these Japanese names at me of real historical figures, but I think of them as their Yakuza characters. Takechi Hanpeta is played by the guy from Yakuza 0, what's his name?
Shibusawa.
Yeah, Keiji Shibusawa from Yakuza 0. In this version, he was played by an actor not in a previous Yakuza game in the 2014 version, because Hanpeta is an incredibly important character. And Okada Izo is played by Nishikiyama from Yakuza 1 and 0. But Izo was Nishiki in both versions, in both the 2014 and the 2023 version. But and there was a lot of actor changes that went between the original, which again drew entirely from Yakuza 1, 2, 3, 4, and the new one, which replaced several of those characters, but not all of them, with characters from Yakuza 6, 7, and 0. But so there's like some actor changes that. Just casually observing the fan base on social media, some acting changes people do seem to appreciate, and some made the fan base a little upset because, like using Hanpeta as an example, the original actor for Hanpeta evidently delivered a very, very good performance that's sort of crucial to the game because Hanpeta is a major character. But and having Shibusawa, a major villain from Yakuza 0, in that place, sort of changes the tone of what you think of Hanpeta. So it's we don't know. None of the four of us have played the original Ishin, so we're like our feelings probably haven't changed about these characters, but it creates a different vibe sometimes.
Yeah, that's the trick with the recasting. And one of the things I actually really like about the game is, again, in my review, I said that everyone is playing to type, but not necessarily in the roles you would expect. So there are deaths and there are betrayals, and there are friendships that you develop that could never actually happen in the canon, so to speak, of Yakuza. And I really liked that because it made this game, like every character interaction was a kind of a cool Easter egg for me, because it'd be like, oh, okay, well, I know this character, I know how they're acting, but how's this relationship going to go? What's going to happen? Which I really, really liked. That was a neat thing for this game.
Yeah, it works on another level.
Yeah, I'm of like two minds about it, because like I don't like that I come into the game with like preconceived notions about every character, even though they don't always act like they did in the main games. They kind of still do, at least early on. And but at the same time, I just love seeing Akiyama again, and Saejima and Majima and all these people. Like, yeah, I missed all of these people except maybe I'm not really that big of a fan of Shibusawa. I kind of wish we got the original guy, since I hear it was a good performance. Yeah.
My favorite replacement is probably one of the minor antagonists, Ito Kashitaro. He was originally played by Hamazaki from Yakuza 3 and 4, who's a character that sort of gets redeemed a little bit, but I don't know. I liked seeing Hamazaki suffer a little bit. And now he's played by Kuze, possibly my favorite minor villain in Yakuza history. So yeah. Like more Kuze in my life, 2 thumbs up from me.
Oh yeah. I love Kuze.
My favorite replacement is Oreo.
Oh yeah. Oreo was played by an actress that was not a previous Yakuza character,
and apparently was very well received as well.
Yeah, and she was well liked, but she got replaced by Yuki from Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 2, and everybody loves Yuki.
Yep.
Like if you don't like Yuki, then I'm going to kick you off this podcast immediately. Gio and Nick.
Uh,
I wanna be your girl.
But yeah, Oreo is a. I'm not sure if Oreo has a historical analog, or if Otose, the innkeeper, does.
Yeah, she was in the actual history. She was his wife.
Oh, okay. We're the one bit of historical context I did know is that the Terada Inn is a real place in Kyoto that is still like a historical landmark for being a place where I think Ryoma Sakamoto did live for a while and survived an assassination attempt. Which is like but those details are so many place names and character names are taken from the history. But one thing that takes place in this game that was not true to history is that when Sakamoto is in Kyoto, he takes on an alias of Hajime Saito, and uses that he's trying to research who could have defeated Lord Toyo, because they used an unusual form of swordsmanship, and he's trying to seek out the different schools, like samurai groups, and to find someone that uses that specific brand of swordsmanship. He finds out through an informant that it's almost definitely someone in the Shinsengumi. And so he infiltrates the Shinsengumi as Saito and murders the captain. Well, not murders. He duels the captain of the 3rd Division and becomes the 3rd Division captain in chapter 4 or 5 or so. But with one crazy thing is that Hajime Saito was a real person, and he was definitely not Ryoma Sakamoto in disguise. And there was a case of the 3rd Division captain whose name I forget, because there's just too many characters in this game. And he's played by the guy who's the head of the Tojo clan at the beginning of Kiwami 1.
Sarah.
Masaru Sarah. That's Masaru Sarah. You're right. So Yamanami, who's played by Sarah, duels Sakamoto, and then Sakamoto becomes the captain of the 3rd Division. What happened in the real history was that Yamanami did try to desert and was killed because of the brutal iron code of the Shinsengumi. And then Hajime Saito, an impressive Ronin staying in Kyoto at the time, was promoted to that position. But again, like, they take real historical events and people and then twist them into this narrative full of drama. And I've said the word Shinsengumi a couple times. We should explain who they are a little bit. The Shinsengumi are unusually celebrated and studied in Japan because they were really the last elite samurai force. After the Bakumatsu period was over, the part of the reforms were they took away the national stipend that got all samurai in the country paid as a sort of a warrior class, and then there was a final samurai rebellion that was shut down by the new Imperial Army with civilians trained on firearms. But this is before that. So samurai and ronin are still very much in power and walking around and impose martial law in some areas. Like there's a ruling class of samurai that can murder indiscriminately in Tosa that you see in the first 45 minutes of the game or so. But the Shinsengumi was the emperor assembling a group of like a samurai elite squadron to protect the Tokugawa shogunate's interests and defeat the loyalists trying to restore the emperor to power and all of the different minor anti-shogun forces in Japan. So it's not exactly clear to me how it happened, but it's like he hired a bunch of existing samurai groups and some other prominent samurai of the era to create this miniature army that was like the last group of elite samurai. So they the Shinsengumi has been in stories that we're probably familiar with, like other video games and anime. We actually did there's an otome game about the Shinsengumi called Hakuoki that we did 2 episodes of Retro Encounter on a couple of years ago. But this is not a game where you try to make half the Shinsengumi into your boyfriend. This is a game where you infiltrate the Shinsengumi.
Well, it depends on what perspective you're playing it at.
True. You infiltrate the Shinsengumi. You may or may not try to make them your boyfriends, and then you're just involved in Shinsengumi drama at the end of the Bakumatsu period. And there's, I think, 10 division captains in the Shinsengumi, and they are all major or minor characters from Like a Dragon's past. I mean, I think we have the in some form or another the final bosses of Yakuza's 1, 2, 3, and 5 here. But by the time you're infiltrating the Shinsengumi, you get a shiny blue coat. You're given the option to do bandit extermination missions that are really good for money and resource gathering, and then you have basically free reign of the city while you're still investigating which of the Shinsengumi is probably the one that killed your mentor. So I have been monologuing for far too long. Jono, we're gonna have you go last. But Nick and Gio, what are your feelings on Kyoto, the Shinsengumi, and the story in the first half of Like a Dragon Ishin so far? Open-ended question. Please have at it.
So I love the city. Running around the city, it's full, it's lively. It seems like in the marketplace areas, it seems like there's a lot going on. There are a lot of people around. Feels very lived in and alive. And I think that's really cool. I don't want to talk about my flip on the Shinsengumi because it kind of happens towards I think it happens at the end of chapter 6. But I really didn't, I liked all the characters in it, but I did not like the Shinsengumi at the beginning. I'm starting to come around on them as the story progresses. Yeah, that's they're I it's hard because I actually really like the uniform. The what do you call the what they wear?
The Shinsengumi captain's hakama?
Yes, yeah. The color is gorgeous.
They're very blue.
Yeah. And I love walking around town as Ryoma in the blue Shinsengumi thing.
I also sorry, did I cut you off, Nick?
No, sorry. I think I made a mistake. I think hakama is the pants of the samurai garb. I don't remember what the jacket's called, but
I think it's called haori.
Haori. That's it. Yeah. Hakama is the pants. Haori is the jacket. You're right.
Yeah. I also think it's freaking awesome. they kind of denigrate it a bit, like it's too bright or whatever. No, it looks cool as hell.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I love it.
And I like the different styles that each character in the Shinsengumi, each captain wears theirs in a slightly different style.
Yeah,
which is kind of neat.
Yeah. Notably, Majima with the bloody haori. Like, I love that.
Yes, Oji.
Yeah. They really do try to have the attitude of each major Shinsengumi captain like almost match their how they wear their clothes. Like Soji, who's Okita, who is Majima, has his blood soaked, and Todo Heisuke, who's played by Zhao in from Like a Dragon 7, his is very clean. He has like a colorful undergarment under it, and he's very carefree acting. His original character was Baba from Yakuza 5, which I sort of miss because I like Baba. I'm sure he's good in the original version of this game, but like he keeps his very clean. But you see him do a brutal assassination right in front of Sakamoto, not long after Sakamoto joins the Shinsengumi. And then he's like, "Oh man, now I have to get this cleaned again."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the bright blue Haori, but that is just covered in blood all the time, sort of conveys the tone of what the Shinsengumi is. They were sort of a personal army for the shogun, but they abused their own power and they basically imposed a brutal martial law in Kyoto, at least for a while in the Bakumatsu period.
That's actually one of my favorite moments in the entire game. And I think actually perfectly exemplifies what this game is like and what you can expect from it is the assassination of
that one deserter,
Akimoto. Yeah, because
that's it.
The characters that the characters that they play in the actual game, it's Akimoto and Miyazuki, I think. And in the Yakuza series, these two it's a couple that you keep running into, and she's like a gold digger, chronic cheater who constantly takes advantage of Akimoto, and Akimoto doesn't get it, or when he does, he tries to jump off tall buildings or kill himself then her. And they're just like a comedic duo who are very pitiable characters, and who always, at the end of their sub-stories, Kiryu or whoever else the main character is walks away shaking their head going, "Oh, those two." But in this game, it seems like it's going in that direction because they're both the same characterization. Like he's the hapless idiot and she doesn't appreciate him.
And she's a courtesan. But then you see Todo murder Akimoto in cold blood, and it's a bit of a welcome to the Shinsengumi moment for Sakamoto.
Yeah, and Mizuki, like, her face gets completely covered in blood. And at that moment, you're like, okay, just because we know these characters and they are playing to type doesn't necessarily mean their fates are going to be what we expect them to be. Because I thought that was a really nice twist. Because when it happened, I was like, all right, here we go with this comedic bullshit. Because they've never been my favorite characters in the game, because they've always been a little bit, I don't know, broad. And then all of a sudden, it was like that broadness, literally, they cut through the broadness. And in a brutal scene where her face gets covered with blood of her lover. And that was like, okay, so this is going to be going a little bit differently than I expected.
Yeah, the whole game seems a little more brutal, in the sense that they're willing to, death is a little more, I don't know what word I want to use here, but it happens more often than it does in the mainline series. Even though the combat in the game still follows the Kiryu doesn't actually kill anyone. He just beats him up, even though he's using a sword and a gun in this game. But I also noticed that like dogs especially are a little more disposable in this game.
I know, it's very sad.
There is some cruelty to animals in this game. That was unfortunate, but
I am sad to hear that. I haven't fought a dog yet, but damn.
Well, no
fighting dogs. You just observe cruelty to animals in general. I'll cheer you up a little bit, Gio. There are three dogs. There are 3 dogs and 3 cats that are strays in town that you can find and have their own sub stories. And if you finish if you feed them enough or take care of them enough, they'll join you and in your little house that you get. I think sometime during chapter 4. So the dogs will fetch you crafting materials, and the cats will boost your crafting success rates. So they're you want the 3 dogs and the 3 cats. Trust me.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
My favorite is the one that I named Tofu, because you get your choice of 3 names every time you get one.
You do fight a bear.
I haven't fought the bear yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Is that part of the main story or a sub story?
It's a sub story.
Okay,
it's not even a good sub story. It's like the stupidest, fastest sub story you could imagine. It's actually, I'll spoil it just because it's not a big thing. It's a classic Yakuza thing where it's a little boy is talking to his dad. He's like, "I saw a bear," and the parent's like, "No, you didn't. You're lying." And you walk up to them and you're like, "You saw a bear?" And then they get the kid does this thing where he's like, "Yeah, he looks like that guy standing behind you." And it like the camera goes to like the bear's face, to Ryoma's face, to the bear's face, to Ryoma's face.
I did this.
I
Yeah.
remember this from a recent episode of Random Encounter.
Yeah.
But I've not encountered it yet. You know what? We're gonna take a break here and talk about our favorite sub stories or side quests. I'll go next. There are two sub stories I really love. Part because I think they were funny, and part because I learned that they were real historical figures when I was researching the hell out of this game after the fact. One is Miss Tatsu from Yakuza 0, plays a debt collector woman named Yai-san, and you help her a couple times take care of debtors and then shut down a sort of a protection / debt collection ring. And I don't think that that the real Nijima Yai was doing that in Kyoto at the time, but she was a real person who served as a nurse and as a frontline soldier in multiple wars, including the one that ended the Tokugawa shogunate when she was in her 20s, and then later when she was over 50 years old in the Russo and Sino-Japanese wars. So she was like sort of like she founded multiple military hospitals during conflict, and eventually founded a women's university with her husband. So a sort of an incredible warrior woman story in the second half of 19th century Japan is played by Miss Tatsu in this game, which is excellent. And the second one is the Yakuza 0. I think he's the brawler mentor character, is a guy named Bacchus, and he plays a character in Like a Dragon Ishin named Ernest Satow, who is a British diplomat who is visiting Japan and enjoying himself. And you basically get very drunk with Sato and then protect him from some gangs that are trying to kill all foreigners. And then Sato's like, well, if you can find any information or texts of the time, give them to me and we can talk about them some more. But basically, he wants to learn as much about Japan as he can. And he does that by just being very friendly to the people in bars. But Ernest Satow was a real British diplomat in Japan who wrote some of the first sort of guides to Japan for British people that were I think one was sort of a tourist guide and one was a diplomat guide, and some of his texts were continued to be used for decades and decades. And he's a British diplomat that helped start the very good relationship that the UK and Japan enjoyed in the 19th century and early 20th century.
The first weeaboo.
Yeah, maybe not the very first weeaboo, because there were some Dutch traders in Tokugawa Japan before him, but definitely the most important British weeaboo of all time.
Oh, I have an important question, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, please.
Does he still say, "Hey, boy"?
I don't remember. He definitely laughs a lot.
Yeah.
But that's possible. I don't remember. But anyway, there's sub-stories involving Yaya Yamamoto and Ernest Satow that are very, very entertaining in game. That and they weren't in the original Ryu Ga Gotoku Ishin. They were a couple of the sub-stories added for the PS5 version, or I should say the Kiwami version that we're all playing, because I think they did remove some stories, add a bunch of sub stories, and add some side content in the new version. It's not a perfect recreation, but I don't know all of what's new and what's old because I'd never played the old version. But I can confirm that at least those two sub stories are new. So does anyone else have a favorite side quest or sub story they'd like to bring to the table?
Yeah, I enjoyed the I think it was called Death of the Author. Where you in the inn you basically knock on a door and there's an author in there who is freaking out because he has writer's block, and you can help him write his stories. And this requires a little bit of knowledge of Japanese literature, I guess, or alternatively, you could have just played The Great Ace Attorney.
Well, in The Great Ace Attorney, you'll only know I Am a Cat and probably not Bochan or Kokoro, but it's not hard to figure out from the titles.
Yeah, exactly. It's you need to help him figure out, and this is not the kind. I think he's a combination. Like, these books were not written like bang 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 one after the other. And so I don't even think in this time period. I think they were written in the later 19th century.
No, they were written
really?
in the early 20th century.
That's what I meant. Yes.
Yeah. But Soseki Natsume is a very, very famous Japanese author of the early 20th century, and he is in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and this is his alleged fake ancestor. So I think it's Sosuke Natsume. So it's like you basically have to help this struggling author with naming his works, and they are the works of Soseki Natsume. Natsume. I'm probably getting the name wrong a little bit, but basically they included a Soseki Natsume side quest, but changed his name to be his presumed ancestor.
Yeah, it's a fun sub story in the classic Yakuza, like a dragon style. The other one that I like, just because I'm apparently like 12 years old, is the sexy madam.
Oh yeah, she wants your vegetables.
She wants your vegetables, and she wants the bigger the better. It's a classic Yakuza style. Kiryu being like, "Ho ho, I'm gonna get laid," and then Kiryu clearly not getting laid and misunderstanding the situation entirely, like the motorbike woman in the arcade.
Oh
in Yakuza
yeah.
Zero.
Oh god, they really have some uncomfortable camera choices in that sub story. In Yakuza
Oh, yes.
Zero. Mm-hmm.
I liked. So I'll talk about two. I liked the one is you get in chapter 6. It's called the Way of the Samurai.
Yeah,
and it's this guy has a like American flag kimono.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't found this one yet. I can't wait.
It's he's about to get killed by a couple of Ronin. And he keeps mispronouncing Japanese words. And he asks you to train him in the way of the samurai. And like it's a very funny premise. It just ends up being like a couple of fights in a dojo, but the end of it is really nice, where you end up having to fight like 8 or 9 guys at a time in the main marketplace there right by the inn. And that was a really fun one. I really like that one.
I really wish the end of that fight with him saying, "I could do this all day."
The other one that this one I actually didn't like because of the content of it. And it would be the hungry sumo wrestler. I get the context of the sumo wrestler, but basically he's starving and blocking an entire like pathway because he's just so exhausted because he hasn't eaten. And he needs to eat like a bunch of food in order to compete and do well in the in sumo wrestling.
I haven't found this one, but I did find the sumo wrestling brothel, and that was a fun one.
Oh, I haven't found that one yet.
You have to go to I forget the name of it. The region at the east end of the city where all of the Ryote restaurants and the brothels are.
Oh wait, I did find that one. Yeah. That's another one where Kiryu thinks he's about to get laid.
Correct. And the full intention is for him to get laid, but he doesn't realize that it was for sumo enthusiasts.
Yeah, very fun.
Yeah, it's a good one. I feel bad I forget the name of that district of the town. It's Fushimi is the place where your inn is, and then Rakunai and Rakugai are right next to each other, and that's not confusing. And Mukurogai is the slum, and that's a sort of a separate island in the town, but I forget the name of the ritzy area.
The sumo wrestler, it constantly amuses me because he's like, I need a big healthy meal to be able to fight, and I just continuously gave him a raw daikon radish every single time. Same. And he's like, "Oh, it's daikon," and I'm just like, this is really funny that this sumo wrestler's like, I need fuel, and you just give him a massive daikon radish.
There's one guy who demands that you give him home cooked meals because you can cook meals from the vegetables you grow and the fish that you catch in your little house, and he's like, I need the taste of Japan, please give me your finest home cooked meal. And I'm like, here are pickles, because you can turn cucumbers into pickles is like the most basic recipe, and I just gave him pickles 5 times.
Yeah, he loves them. It's the greatest thing to him.
He was going wild for my pickles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this game, this oh god. I mean, that's another sub story that we haven't talked about, which is the entire Another Life section.
Right.
Yeah, this was in the original and the new version. But basically you meet a young woman who I don't think has a historical analog named Haruka, Ha ha ha. And yeah,
Who could she be?
yeah, who could she possibly be in the Like a Dragon universe? But yeah, she her parents both passed away, and a debt collector is threatening to take her house. So Sakamoto just buys it straight up and says, "All right, I'll take care of your debts, but this can be my safe house for when I need to rest from out of town." And at the house is where you keep your dogs and cats, which is of course what I think is the most important part of it.
Yes.
And grow your vegetables and cook your meals, and you can also send away vegetables or meals that you cook through a sort of trading post to make some money and help Haruka pay back her debt. So it's a whole nother side quest that you can probably devote a lot of time to if you if you decide to. I've done it a little bit, but I've mostly been focused on, again, chicken races, which are basically just betting on chickens. and that's how I've made most of my money in this game, betting on chicken races. And also, I should mention that they don't use yen in this system. They use old Japanese currency, which are gold ryo and I think copper or tin mon, and 10,000 mon make 1 ryo. And so yeah, you got to get that ryo, bet on some chicken races, hunt some bandits.
The another life section also has like a slice of life, like if you story to it, where like if you go into the bathhouse there, Kiryu or Ryoma and Haruka have they just have like a nice conversation and bond a little bit, and it's a good way to rack up those Haruka points.
Yeah, there are three or 4 scenes between the two of them, where they basically end up exactly where they are in the actual game. But it's they're nice little moments.
Yeah.
I was worried when I encountered this because I wasn't sure what the game wanted their relationship to be.
I know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to know it's purely uncle nephew kind of thing.
They're family. Yeah.
Family.
Yeah, I mean, Ryoma does have a romantic relationship with Oreo, who's sort of the young woman that works at the inn, and you can visit a brothel, and there's a whole suite of mini games that you do with the courtesans. But I haven't done those yet because it costs an entire ryo just to go to the brothel, and I have some swords and gloves to make. So that I'm not, I won't be soliciting the brothel until I'm further along in my equipment crafting journey.
Well, we know where Sollosi's priorities lie.
Yes, swords and armor. Okay. To be fair, before I did the sword investment thing, I made sure to save all the dogs and cats. So my priorities are dogs and cats number 1, swords number 2, Japanese historical Japanese historical fiction 3rd, chicken races 4th, and a distant 5th is romantic entanglements with courtesans.
Yeah, the mini games for that are there's a drinking contest, there is a round of rock paper scissors, and then there is the most annoying mini game, which it's basically like Space Invaders for getting laid. It's a mini game about trying to not go early.
No.
Yes. And it is ridiculous, and it's also ridiculously hard.
Oh, great! An edging mini game, just what I wanted.
It's an edging mini game. It's an edging mini game that's basically Space Invaders.
Oh boy! Well, I mean, this seems like a combination of the phone club from Yakuza 0 and the bikini mud wrestling from Yakuza 0, which I'm not sure because that's a very, very heavy rock paper scissors
or bug wrestling.
Yeah,
from Kiwami.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the bikini wrestling was replaced by sexy bugs ?
Oh my gosh!
In Kiwami 1, you're right. I didn't like that one much either, but
I don't know. I found the bug wrestling to be far less objectionable than the mud wrestling.
Yeah, and also the mud wrestling, they cheat all the time. Yeah, and to get the to get the completion on that one, you need to win 10 matches in a row. But it's I gave up after trying it twice. It's whatever. This is not a Yakuza 0 podcast. For those, you should check out our May 2020 episodes. But yeah, there's so much to do in 1860s Kyoto here. It's a little crazy. It can be overwhelming. I right after I started chapter 5, before I even unlocked the bandit missions that I did quite a bit of in the middle of chapter 5. I just did a circuit around Kyoto over and over, or Kyo as they call it in shorthand. Just seeing all the people that I had already helped, and doing any new sub stories or side quests that I encountered. And I built up virtue a lot doing that, which was helpful. Virtue is a separate currency of sorts that you get just by doing anything around town. You get tiny amounts of virtue from eating at a restaurant. You get large amounts of virtue from completing side quests. I ended up challenging a bunch of couriers to races, which then they basically portray the mailmen of Kyoto as a prideful gang of sorts, which was an odd choice.
On brand.
Yeah, it's on brand, but it's also like these are just oddly dressed mailmen, and why are they taking this so seriously? But I mean, that's what Like a Dragon is. They take things either incredibly seriously or incredibly absurdly. But so far, I gotta say, I am having so much fun. This is an absolute Yakuza-ass Yakuza game, but it's set in samurai times. I love samurai stuff and samurai stories. Samurai is one of my 3 most used classes in Final Fantasy XIV, if that indicates anything. The other 2 are monk and warrior. But this feels like one of the really good ones. The story is great. The activities around town are great, and it's all so good, and there's so much stuff. I'm compelled to do all of it, which is, makes me go into a slightly bleary-eyed loop. It's like, oh, I'm going over here. Oh, I'm interrupted to do this. And now I'm going over here, and oh, here's a new thing, and I want to do all of it. And that's sort of how I feel playing every Like a Dragon game, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's see. We should talk about fighting a little bit here. We mentioned guns and swords, and Ryoma Sakamoto was famously a samurai that embraced Western ideas. Like he was interested in reforming Japan into a democracy before he sadly died young, and he was well known for walking the streets with a sword in one hand and a gun in the other. So they transferred that historical fact into this game by giving you a swordsman style, a gunner style, a wild dancer style, which is sword in one hand, gun in the other, and a brawler style that is a little bit like the unarmed combat of Yakuza games past.
Kiryu style.
The Dragon of Dojima style.
Dragon of Dojima, yeah.
So between those 4 styles, like, what was your approach to combat in this game? Because you're fighting bandits in town a lot. This is almost Yakuza 5 level of encountering fights all the time.
Oh, wild dancer all the way. Yeah, that's me. I'm just investing all my orbs into wild dancer.
Well, I was just going to say I was doing the exact same thing you were doing.
Yeah.
At that point, I was just like putting everything into wild dancer.
Yeah, because it does everything. Like it crowd management, and it's good one-on-one, and it's just exciting. Like you don't need to block or anything. It's fluid. I love it.
Graceful.
Yeah, the dodge is very quick. The attacks are quick enough that you can respond quickly to an attack with a dodge. Tapping the circle button on the PlayStation controller a lot of times gives you a really good combo, and then that circular or that spinning gunfire thing that's very easy to take care of large groups with. But I as I've gotten further in the game, I've really started appreciating the swordsman and the gunman paths.
That's what I've been doing from the beginning. I start out as gunman, and I just mash square, or maybe I'll do a spinning triangle combo if there's a large group around me. But I'll just like shoot, and once they're about 4 steps away from me, I switch to swordsman and then chop the hell out of them. And I've spent a lot of money into upgrading my gun and my sword. So I haven't ever since the chapter 3 or so, I have not had any struggles with combat, but it's definitely because I have focused on my equipment. I think equipment investment is very effective in this game, more so than in previous Yakuza games, because you're going to be swording and gunning a lot, and you want a good sword and a good gun.
Yeah, I found that I started out just doing brawler style because that's what I was used to, and then that evolved eventually into primarily using swordsman style. And then I realized that if you get a really, really good gun, especially a rapid fire gun, you can just break the game and put people into a stun lock, which was fun and also eventually a little bit boring. So then I switched over to Dancer to make the game fun and challenging again. Although an interesting way, like if you go to the... here's a good question for everyone. Has everyone found the the fighting arena yet.
Yeah, I found it. It's at the upper floor of Mukurogai, the separate island slum area.
Yeah, you need to be. I missed it for like. I don't think I found it until like chapter 7, because there are 3 guys in masks standing on the second level, and you can just run by them and they won't do anything. It's without triggering the sub story. You need to trigger the sub story. Oh no, sorry. This is the. I was thinking the other way.
Well, that's a separate quest. Yeah,
that's a separate quest. That's what I meant. Sorry.
There is like a neighborhood watch group that's trying to hunt down and kill off the gangs in Kyoto, and I think there's multiple targets, but a lot of them are people in Tengu masks, and the rewards for that are pretty good. You can get some good Ryo that way.
That's what I meant. Sorry. But it's easy to miss because that sub story does not trigger unless you get close to them. So you can run by them and just like. Doesn't matter. So you've really got to make sure you get near them to unlock that piece of content.
But the gang hunter side quest and the arena side quest are both on the second floor of Mukurogai. So they're quite close to each other. But those are just 2 more side activities you can do in this extremely dense game full of stuff to do.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry, my original point was if you go to the arena with the gun and you have a gun that has like rapid fire, so basically you just have a machine gun and you do the 100-man brawl, you can clear it out incredibly quickly and earn so much experience from it so fast. So it's a really, really ridiculously easy way to grind.
Interesting. And you know there's separate experience tracks in this game for your overall level and your skill level. So as you gain overall levels, you get little orbs that you can put into your skill trees. But as you gain regular experience, style experience levels, you gain your colorful orbs matching each style. So if let's say you only do swordsman, you'll get your gray orbs from gaining levels and then your blue orbs from swordsman levels. You can replace your gray orbs in the tree with blue orbs to get gray orbs back. So that's what I've been doing. I've been fighting almost entirely in gunman and swordsman. But as I, gain my yellow and blue orbs, and that gives me gray orbs back that I can, what, I'll put a couple points in Wild Dancer now, just so I'm leveling that up too. Like I'm doing all of my leveling up in 2 styles, but because of this sort of shared experience path system that they have, I am leveling up Brawler and Wild Dancer a little bit as well. But if anything, my style is sort of like 40% Gunner, 50% Swordsman, 10% the other 2.
Yeah, it's a brilliant little system. I like it.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's the prototype for the system that was eventually implemented in Yakuza 0.
Yeah, but Yakuza 0 is an entirely money investment driven system, which is, I don't know. I sort of miss that. That's the only Yakuza game where whenever you defeat an enemy, like money explodes out of them, like rings exploding out of Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, I should replay Yakuza 0. I love that thing.
Yeah, it's great. Although this should get some of that out of you because, like I said, this really does play like a prototype of Yakuza 0. Like many of the systems in this game were developed further in Yakuza 0. Like Yakuza 0 plays very much as a sequel to this game's mechanics, which it was. But
yeah, the style switching for one. Some of the activities in town were proto versions of what's in Yakuza 0. That's for sure. I think it would even feel more like Yakuza 0 if we played this in its original engine, because both Yakuza 0 and this game started out as being evolved versions of the Yakuza 5 engine, and then they switched to the Dragon engine for Yakuza 6. But it's in that 5 Ishin 0 Kiwami 1 engine and feeling generally.
Can I actually ask everyone's opinion about that? Because I'm curious where everyone's coming from in terms of the engine. So originally this was using the Kiwame engine. It was using the same engine for 5.0 and Kiwame. And then rather than try to upgrade it or port it into the Dragon engine, they decided to use Unreal Engine, which was a first for the Yakuza series, because they've always used proprietary. They've always used their own engines. They've never used an outside engine. And this is the first time they've used Unreal. And I don't feel like it was as successful as they may have liked. Now, again, I played the game for review, so maybe there have been patches since then, but there were some significant issues with camera, like things blocking the camera. And the big one was lighting. The lighting effects were really bad, like especially with women. If there was a bright light in a scene, it would completely wash out their face. Like,
are you playing it on PC or PS5 or what?
PS5.
I haven't noticed anything major. It does
Maybe
feel
they fixed it then.
It does feel maybe a little bit more sluggish than my memory of I guess Judgment was the last Ryu Ga Gotoku game I played, but I don't know. I'm not noticing a major downgrade. But again, I'm playing it on PS5, so the load times are actually pretty good.
Yeah, the load times are good. It's just there are some real weird graphics stuff that that really drew my attention, like the lighting effects. The other one being that, and again, I don't think this was my imagination. Some of the character models look like they were imported directly from the original Ishin, and other character models look like they were imported from the later games, including like face textures and things like that. So sometimes like facial textures look amazing; they look like a modern Yakuza game, and then other times it looks like it is from the Zero engine. And that juxtaposition of the two, I found to be really awkward in places.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. And it's really jarring too, because while I don't think that like you end up running into any scenes where it's like multiple characters using kind of like different faces, like bouncing between Ryoma talking to somebody who has like a noticeably older face is a little jarring.
Yeah, like Toto's facial animations and his character model look considerably better than, say, I don't know, the one that really got me was Saigo, who is oh god, why am I blanking on his name? Who is Gota?
Yeah, Gota.
In Yakuza 2. His character model looks like it was pulled out of like Dead Souls.
Yeah, I think that was the last thing that Gota appeared in, technically. Well, unless you count his elementary school version in Yakuza 0.
Or
yeah,
Kiwami 2.
Or Kiwami
right?
2.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God, I completely blanked on that. I'm sorry.
I was going to say
2018 wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like in scenes where he is talking to, where he's talking to another character who is using a more modern day character model, it's really obvious that the texture of his skin on his face is like a generation behind, and it's just awkward. It looks weird, and it seems it was such a strange thing. Like when they call this Kiwame in Japan, I don't feel like it is a Kiwame version of this game. I feel like it is a partial remake / remaster. But I don't feel like there's a lot of new content, or like Yakuza Kiwame and Yakuza Kiwame 2 were two ground up remakes of the originals that didn't use any of the original assets. And this, I feel, reuses a lot of the original assets. And that's not a bad thing, because it was, it's 2012, I think. So it's not like it looks bad. It's just weird for me. I don't feel like the transfer to the Unreal Engine was 100% successful. It might be for the next game because they're still getting used to the system, but yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I think third-party engine usage, it seems like it's a recent adoption in Japan, right? So it seems like it seems like they probably had some difficulties adopting this and using this unfamiliar engine. Luckily, it didn't seem like there were too many of those. I don't know if you've actually beaten the game. I don't know if you end up seeing more and more of that as you play through the game. But yeah, I definitely noticed Gota right away. I did my legend run of Kiwami 2 last year, and so seeing Gota in this game looking the way that he does was very jarring for me.
It doesn't look bad. And I will say they nailed the play feel of it. Like the game plays really well. The combat's really responsive. It feels great. So there's no complaints about the gameplay side of the engine. It's just some interesting graphic stuff I noticed. But that otherwise,
it also runs well.
It does run well,
right?
Yeah. Way less glitchy. Although there are I'm hoping they fix this by the time. The big glitch for mine was characters would be NPCs would just be walking down the street, and then I would guess they would lose their axis and they would start flying around their feet like a helicopter, like under the map.
Jesus, wow, I haven't run into that
either.
I think part of it is the Unreal Engine is famous for being pretty easy
to build assets for. So I think that if they tried to do this in the Dragon engine or build a new proprietary engine, it would have been a large technical effort for them to get this game out.
Costly,
too. Yeah. Well, I mean, it costs money to license the Unreal Engine for any game project, but it would have been a both a money cost and a large labor cost to do this another way. And I think really they just wanted to release Ishin worldwide is my feeling for this. Like they felt like this was a project that would be well received worldwide, because the original Ishin is, I mean, speaking as a relatively recent Yakuza fan, this was the one that everyone said, "Oh, this is the Japan only one that's awesome. This is the masterpiece that the West is never going to get." And even though this game does make some changes that's with some positive and some not as well received, I'm just glad we're getting it, and I'm not sure we would have gotten it if they had done if they had spent more time refining the engine or getting the licenses from the actors in the original roles.
I know. And I mean, they could have just, I don't know, dump it in the Dragon engine, because I mean, the Dragon engine is being used for The Man Who Erased His Name and presumably for Yakuza 8 as well, or Like a Dragon 8 as well. And the Dragon engine has evolved with the times at least pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the worlds that they've been able to create using it.
Yeah.
The Dragon engine has come a long way since the very messy Yakuza 6.
Yeah. I'm not hammering the Unreal Engine at all. I just feel like most first games in a new engine, there were some bugs they needed to hammer out. But yeah, the only real bug that I found was helicoptering people. Or my favorite is helicoptering dogs. So someone would be walking their dog and there would just be like a dog flying around its y-axis.
That actually, can I just say, I absolutely love walking around town and just seeing people walking and their dog is just like on the ground trotting with them, looking up at them. And it looks like the person's kind of just talking to their dog. That's one of my favorite parts of walking around town. I just love watching people walking around with their dogs.
It's a good town. It's funny how many Yakuza Easter eggs have been put into this. Like Don Quixote is a
yes.
They put Don Quixote in the game, which is hilarious.
Yeah, Don Quixote. Yep. And there's an early version of the Kamurocho sushi restaurant. Sushi Gin is in this game too. And there's tea parlors and Ryote restaurants, which are a very fancy, specific kind of restaurant. So far I've only committed 2 murders in Ryote so far, but we'll see. Maybe more will happen. And I've already witnessed the brutal executions of 2 minor villains from Yakuza 6 and 7. Like there's so much going on in this game, and so much more I'm looking forward to that I sort of know is coming. That I'm just excited to play more of it. I think I'm going to go right back to my PS5 and this game about 5 minutes after we finish recording. But before we finish recording, Jono, you already know how this game ends. Mm-hmm. Nick and Gio, I want to ask each of you, what's one thing you're looking forward to in the second half or more than half of Like a Dragon Ishin? I'll go first. I am really enjoying forging weapons so much that I can't wait to just to get further in the story so better materials start dropping, which is again the most gamer-ass comment to make, but maybe it's my love of Monster Hunters speaking, maybe it's my like making every single weapon in East 7 speaking, but I want to make a bunch of more cool swords for Ryoma. Especially I'm looking at that Murasame. I have Suijin's Demise, and I just need some more gold chunks for that Murasame. I think it also costs like 70 Ryo or something, but I'm gonna make that sword.
Yeah. So were you asking like what I expect from the story, or like
either something you expect from the story or something that you're looking forward to? Just what's one thing that you haven't encountered yet that you want to?
Oh God. I mean, it's hard to decide on one thing, but okay, aside from the cats and dogs that I'm excited to pet.
I can tell you where all 6 are located and what they need if you want, because I was determined to get all 6.
Oh hell yeah. I'll ask you.
One of them is very picky. You got to catch a tuna for him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's fishing in this game too. By the way,
the fishing is easy though. You can literally do the fishing blindfolded because all you have to do is set out the cast and wait for your controller to start to rumble. So you can I even caught one fish blindfolded or with my eyes closed just to see if I could. It wasn't a great fish, but yeah, it's easy. It's easier than trying to catch a tuna in Yakuza 3.
So I not 100% sure where the story is gonna go, but I get Star Wars Episode 3 vibes from the game. Kind of, it's like I feel like Anakin joining the Jedi Council, knowing he's gonna kill them all. So I feel like the game is gonna play out like I'm gonna kill each one of the Shinsengumi, like one by one, until I reach the end, like whoever the final boss will be. So I think that's how it's gonna play out. Although I hope that's how it's gonna play out. But
I'm almost worried that the opposite is going to happen because I know that Ryoma Sakamoto was assassinated. I'm not sure if it was by the Shinsengumi or if it was by someone else, but I know that he did die before his time. So I do not know how the story is going to end here because they've already completely blown up the story by having Ryoma Sakamoto and Saito Hajime be the same person.
Are you also predicting that Ryoma will kill every child in Kyo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oreo walking up him into the bridge, like, no, Hajime, not the younglings.
Hanpeita's gonna be like, he killed younglings, something like that. I don't know. No, I think he's probably not gonna kill some of the Shinsengumi. Some of the Shinsengumi are like gonna defect or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to fight Kuze again. I'm pretty sure we're gonna fight Kuze, and it's gonna be amazing. Oh, fuck. Wow! I can't wait to hear the Japanese instrumentation version of that. Yeah, yeah. I think that's how it's gonna go, and I'm looking forward to that. We'll see if I'm wrong.
I'm hoping there's more Mahjong.
Ooh,
there is a Mahjong parlor that I found.
I already completed all the challenges for it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, and like I was severely disappointed because I spend so much time playing Mahjong in the other Yakuza games that I don't know, like I managed to complete all of the challenges in like a half hour, or probably more like an hour. But yeah, I was really disappointed at how little Mahjong there is so far. So I'm hopeful that there's more. But it's okay if there isn't.
Personally, I was delighted that there was as little Mahjong as possible.
Yeah, I love Mahjong.
Every Like a Dragon player has a different relationship with the game's mini games. I avoid shogi and mahjong at all costs, but I did every single last hostess thing you can possibly do in every Yakuza game other than 3 and 4 because those are just terrible. and I play a rather terrifying amount of darts in every Yakuza game because I genuinely enjoy watching pro darts. So
that's awesome.
Like seeing if I can get a 501 in the minimum number of throws is something I always try to do.
Well, I want to give a shogi tip real quick. If you are trying to beat people in shogi in Yakuza, the best
801.
The best way to do it is to there are online shogi websites where you can play against a computer. So just go make sure that the enemy goes first, and then just copy their moves into your web program. And then whatever the computer does against you, that's what you do in the game.
I don't know. That sounds an awful lot like cheating.
The other option is to learn how to play shogi. And that seems like an insurmountable wall to me.
Well, okay, to me that means like I could spend hours learning shogi and executing those strategies in game, or I could play more darts and watch more chicken races. And I already know the decision I'm going to make.
It's chicken races.
It's chicken races and gang hunting. Like again, the bounties, the bandit caves, and the chicken races. That's how I'm going to get my poison sword.
I love the replacement for baseball in this game, which is cannonball slicing with your sword.
Oh yeah.
We should have talked about that.
Cleaving cannonballs in half with your sword. It's pretty good.
The gun section of that is fun too.
Oh, duck hunt?
There's a gun version? I've only done the cannonball one a couple times.
Yes.
No, there's a gun version. Yeah. It still uses the cannon.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun.
Gio, if you haven't found that yet, it's in Mukuro Gai on the east side, I think. So yeah, have at it.
Oh god, I'm going there as soon as we end.
You can pay 500 mon to go to Mukorogai, or you can buy some cheap alcohol for about 1,000 mon in Rakunai, and then give it to the guy at the gate, and that'll get you in free for the rest of the game.
Yep, I actually saved there before finishing.
Oh, good. Yeah, there's and one of the dogs you recruit is near the middle of the lower floor of Mukorogai.
Oh god, that one's so sad.
That one's sad.
There are two sad dog ones.
All three of the dog ones are pretty sad.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I just remembered what the third one is. Yeah. All three of them are horrible.
The cat ones are sort of funny, but the dog ones are super sad. But all six of them, I'm like, I am going to adopt your ass. And definitely upgrade your swords, take care of your dogs and cats. There's so much to do in this game, and it is so fun. I'm worried at how much time it's going to take for me to finish, but I think I am going to critical path it a little bit until my sword starts to seem a little bit less effective. Then I'm going to go right back to the chicken races. But for now, I am super enjoying this game. I know I'm probably gonna forget everyone's name until I have to duel them later. But that's still coming. I don't know if there's much else to say here. I mean, all four of us are in different places, but we're all having a good time, and Jono even is considering revisiting this.
I want to finish the rest of the sub-stories, just because I never 100% a game, but I always complete all of the sub-stories. I try to get as much of the content as I can.
I've only completed all the sub-stories in one Yakuza game.
Also, Ryoma and Soji haven't kissed yet, so...
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you can date...
That's my prediction for the end.
I'm pretty sure you can date Okita and Saito in Hakuoki Memories of the Shinsengumi. So I think it is canon that we got some kissing samurai. But okay, all right. If we're talking about which member of the Shinsengumi we most want to kiss, we are definitely at the end of the episode.
In the beginning of a new one.
Oh boy! I'm telling you, go to those Hakuoki episodes in 2020. We have I think Lucy, Hillary, and Nikki really really lose their damn minds there.
Wow.
But listeners, if you want more samurai, that is probably less likely to include kissing. We're doing another Like a Dragon Ishin episode next week, where we're going to talk about the end game and the themes, and probably more specifics of the story. Because all of us will have completed it by that time. And I can't wait to see how that goes. But in April, we do have it all planned out and partially recorded. We're doing one episode on Persona 4 Golden with a special guest with a content creator out from outside RPG Fan. One episode on essential fan translations projects over the years, and 2 episodes on Lost Odyssey, that Xbox 360 RPG that everyone wishes would be a little bit more available. But if you have questions about Lost Odyssey or Persona 4 Golden or fan translations or Like a Dragon Ishin or which samurai you want to kiss the most, you can email retro@rpgfan.com. Also visit RPG Fan on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, YouTube, Twitch. Always called either RPG Fan or RPG Fancom. Another great way to support the website is to visit the RPG Fan shop. That's rpgfan.com/shop to see an online store hosted by TeePublic that has RPG Fan emblazoned apparel, coffee mugs, what else do we have?
Onesies.
Oh God. How dare I forget the onesies, and phone cases and other things. That's a great way to support the website. There's also 2 other fine podcasts hosted by RPG Fan. Random Encounter every 2 weeks, hosted mostly by Jono, mostly about randomness.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of whatever the topic of the week is what we, talk about. I can't remember when this episode's going to air. So, I mean, by that point, who knows what'll be out?
I think that you'll have the episode, the episode about Like a Dragon Ishin and Octopath Traveler 2 is definitely already out. And I think there's been one more episode since.
But so that'll be our Final Fantasy episode that doesn't actually feature any RPGs in it.
Oh, okay.
Just two spin-offs.
A lot of theater rhythm. And what else is there? Is it Chocobo Racing? Is it Chicken Racing?
No, it's not chicken racing. It's some power washing.
Excellent. Okay. So, but in addition to Random Encounter, there's also Rhythm Encounter about the music of RPGs. We did a Like a Dragon episode just a couple weeks ago with myself, Jono, and Gio, didn't we, guys?
That's so much fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so much fun. I mean, the music. We didn't even talk about the music in this game.
No, we didn't. Oh my god, it's real good.
We'll talk about it next week,
A
but
whole lot
it's
of-
real good. Yeah,
A whole lot of shamisen, a whole lot of a whole lot of incongruous stuff, but it's excellent. We will talk about the music in the next episode.
I think my favorite is when you're doing the mini game where you're slinging oh god,
Udon.
Udon when you're
Oh,
when you're
God.
slinging udon, and there's an old timey Machine Gun Kiss playing in the background.
That's pretty good. Is that a little bit like the BioShock Infinite, like 1910s versions of Beach Boys songs playing?
Yep.
Excellent. All right. We're not going to do an episode on BioShock Infinite, I promise. But listeners, if you want to give feedback to our podcast, whether it's Random Rhythm or Retro Encounter, you can review us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, whatever podcast service you use. Please give us feedback, especially if it's 5 stars out of 5. You can also give us feedback as individuals, not as a podcast, if you prefer. Fellas, let's tell the audience how they can find us online, starting with you, Nick.
You can find me on Twitter at NickManWrites. I'm also on the RPG Fan Discord as Nick M.
Now, Jono.
You can fire me off an email at jlogan@rpgfan.com, or you can find me on Mastodon at johnlogan@mastodon.social.
Now, Gio.
You can find me on Discord, on the RPG Fan Discord. I go by Gio there, and also you can email me at gio@rpgfan.com.
And listeners, it's possible you've heard me say this 200 times, but I'm most easy to find on Twitter. I am at The Real Monsoon most of the time, at Evoker for Dogs at other times, and on RPG Fans Discord, I am Monsoon Mike. So, I have a lot more samurai activity to do, but I got to get back to those chicken races and get that Ryo. Thank you, good night, and good luck.